Welcome to the podcast that discusses storytelling from all angles to help you and us answer the call when the muse screams, "Tell the damn story." We'll be exploring the challenges of being creative in fiction, illustration, comics, film, and nonfiction.
Okay, so we're still here at the Atlantic City Boardwalk Comic-Con, and I'm sitting here with the wonderful
Patrick J. Reilly
of
Pronto Comics and
Absolutely.
myself.
Yep, Max has been with us at Kids Comic-Con, but he and his guys have done some really great stuff. And I'm sorry, that was sexist of me. He and the members of Pronto Comics have done a lot of good work, male, female, the whole nine. And I've heard of you for a number of years. You've been very consistent in the quality of the work that you're doing as independents. So I'm going to put, despite all that wonderful music behind it, I'm going to put the same questions to Mike, Matt here, that I just put to Mike a little while ago. So we have, the first question is, what was the best advice about creating that you ever received?
Oh, man. The best advice I ever got received, well, it's kind of a blanket statement to everyone, but it's, I forget who told me it. It's one of those things that everyone says to you. It's just do it. Just do it? Go. It's just like, just make whatever you make, it has to be your vision, your idea. No one else can take that away from you. So just do it. If you have a passion and you're saying, like, man, I have this idea of just like a squirrel talking to a moose, do it. And then Jay Ward did, Rocky Bowenville. Just go do it. As silly as it sounds, there's always an audience for you. Doesn't matter who you are, what the idea is. There's always at least one other person in the world who thinks the way you do and goes, hey, I like that.
So just do it. Just jump out there and do it. Okay. Okay, that's cool. So then let me hit you with the second question here. Hang on here, because I got to read this because I'm old. What advice can you give to our listeners about creativity or productivity?
Creativity-wise, I always free write in between projects. Every time I have a project and I'm scheduled to do this or this, I've worked with some licensed characters before. So whenever you're doing that, it kind of drains you a bit. I always free write. I just go free writing and I write my own thing and I go as long as I can. As long as I can, just one mental shot. And sometimes they work out and I'm like, oh great, I'll use this somewhere. And sometimes it's just nonsense. I have books and books of nonsense. But it's every clam every other oyster has a pearl.
Every other oyster has a pearl. I like it. I'm making sure we get some of this over the music in the background. Yes.
So always just write. No matter how bad you think it is, you'll eventually get there. Because the best way to find your voice is to continue to talk. You know what I mean? And you'll eventually get it. You'll understand, dialogue's great when I write like this, or man, I really understand, if I write a character like this, this will happen, or story structure-wise, you start to learn how you write the story. And then productivity-wise, man, I have sometimes the worst writer's block.
You have the worst writer's block?
Yeah, I have the worst writer's block sometimes. One time I wrote a book called Writer's Block, basically, about an adventure I've had while having writer's block. And, so writer's block is, the thing that people get, and a lot of people are just like, oh, I'm nervous. I have friends who have, blown deals with Image because they got too nervous, and they just the weight of it. But, the best thing to do in that situation is just take a breath, think of it like, hey, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I'm doing this for me. I'm doing it for this guy. It doesn't matter if 1,000 people read it, if one person reads it. As long as you get the work out there and your voice is heard.
Excellent. Yeah. Thank you very much. That's great.
This is great.
My pleasure.
If you want to hear more about the show or any of us, go to tellthedamnstory.com.